Dear friends, we will understand the theory of a great scientist, Charles Darwin, theory of evolution through natural selection. This will help you to understand the natural world better. I hope you will find this very interesting. My name is Manmohan Chauhan.
Hello everyone. I am so glad you could join me today. My name is Manmohan Chauhan, and as a lifelong student of biology, I have always been fascinated by the incredible story of Charles Darwin. Today I am thrilled to share my passion with you as we explore his remarkable journey and the revolutionary idea of natural selection. Thank you for joining me on this voyage of discovery. The Accidental Naturalist. Our story begins not with a brilliant scientist in a lab, but with a young man named Charles Darwin, who was supposed to be a doctor. He was far more interested in chasing beetles and collecting rocks in the English countryside than in his medical studies. This profound lifelong curiosity about the natural world taught him the value of patience and detail, skills that would soon be put to the ultimate test. It was this very passion that led him to an unexpected opportunity that would not only change his life but also help unlock one of the greatest secrets of all time. Here, a young Charles Darwin, who was supposed to be studying medicine, was instead chasing beetles and collecting rocks. He was not a traditional student, but a passionate observer, and this profound lifelong curiosity would soon be put to the ultimate test. The voyage of a lifetime. In 1831, a momentous invitation arrived, a chance to join the HMS Beagle on a 5 year scientific expedition around the globe. For Darwin, a 22 years old with a thirst for exploration, it was a dream come true. While the ship's crew meticulously mapped coastlines, Darwin was the ship's naturalist, a full time explorer. He journeyed through the wilds of South America, climbed mountains, and unearthed ancient fossils, filling his journals with observations that would later challenge everything he had ever been taught about the natural world. As he journeyed, he saw things that simply didn't fit into the old ways of thinking, sparking a question no one else was asking: why. The momentous invitation to join the HMS Beagle was a dream come true for the young naturalist. While the crew mapped coastlines, Darwin was a full time explorer, filling his journals with observations that would later challenge everything he had ever been taught. The Galapagos Laboratory. The most important stop on Darwin's voyage was the Galapagos Islands, a small isolated chain of volcanic islands that were a living laboratory. Darwin was astonished to find that each island was a unique ecosystem, and the animals and plants on each were perfectly suited to their specific environment. The most striking discovery came from the finches, which were all related but had beaks that were perfectly shaped to eat the food available on their island. The giant tortoises also provided a powerful clue. Their shells were shaped differently to allow them to eat specific types of vegetation. This isolation offered a profound insight into how species could change over time to fit their surroundings. The Galapagos Islands were a living laboratory where Darwin witnessed adaptation in action. He was astonished to find that each island had unique finches with specialized beaks and tortoises with different shell shapes, each perfectly suited to their specific environment. The foundation of natural selection. Back in England, Darwin spent more than 2 decades meticulously gathering evidence. He was inspired by an economist who argued that populations grow faster than the food supply. This led Darwin to the idea of a struggle for existence, a constant, intense competition for limited resources. In this relentless race for survival, some individuals are simply better equipped to survive than others. This struggle, combined with his observations from the Galapagos, formed the foundation of his revolutionary theory, which he would eventually call natural selection. Inspired by the idea that populations grow faster than their food supply, Darwin realized that this creates a constant struggle for existence. He understood that in this relentless competition for limited resources, some individuals are naturally better equipped to survive. The principles, variation, and inheritance. The first two pillars of Darwin's theory are variation and inheritance. Darwin observed that within any population, no two individuals are exactly alike. There are natural random differences in traits like size, color, and speed. These differences are like the raw ingredients for evolution. The second crucial piece was that he correctly understood that these variations are heritable, meaning they are passed down from parents to offspring. This link ensures that traits that help an individual survive and reproduce are not lost but continue to appear in the population, increasing their frequency over time. The first two rules of natural selection are variation and inheritance. Darwin observed that no two individuals are exactly alike, and he correctly understood that many of these differences are passed down from parents to their offspring. The principles survival and reproduction. The final two pillars of natural selection are differential survival and differential reproduction. In the constant struggle for existence, individuals with traits that are a little bit better suited to their environment are more likely to survive and live long enough to have offspring. This is the famous survival of the fittest. The final step is that these better suited individuals don't just survive, they also tend to have more offspring. This leads to a gradual increase of favorable traits in the population over countless generations, slowly shaping life on Earth. In the struggle for existence, individuals with advantageous traits are more likely to survive and have more offspring. This process, called differential survival and reproduction, is the engine that gradually increases favorable traits in a population over countless generations. The co-discoverer. After his voyage, Darwin spent more than 2 decades gathering evidence, hesitant to publish his radical ideas. His hesitation was interrupted in 1858 when he received a letter from a younger naturalist named Alfred Russel Wallace, who had independently come to the exact same conclusions. This incredible moment not only validated Darwin's long held ideas but also spurred him to finally publish his groundbreaking work. Both men's work was presented jointly to a scientific society, marking a shared moment of discovery that strengthened the theory's credibility. Darwin hesitated for decades to publish his radical ideas. His hand was forced in 1858 when he received a letter from Alfred Russel Wallace, who had independently come to the same conclusions. This collaboration not only validated Darwin's ideas but also led to the joint publication of their work. On the Origin of Species. In 1859, Darwin finally published his masterpiece, On the Origin of Species. The book was an instant sensation, sparking intense debate and forever changing the way humanity understood its place in the world. It was a masterclass in scientific argumentation, presenting a mountain of evidence from his voyages, his studies of geology, and his knowledge of animal and plant breeding. The publication of this book was a turning point, challenging the idea of divine creation and offering a secular, evidence-based explanation for life's incredible diversity. Darwin's masterpiece, On the Origin of Species, was an instant sensation. The book presented a mountain of evidence and forever changed the way humanity understood its place in the world, offering a secular, evidence based explanation for life's incredible diversity. The evidence today. Today, Darwin's theory is supported by an overwhelming body of evidence. Fossils show a clear progression of life forms, with transitional forces like the ancient bird Archaeopteryx linking different groups. Comparative anatomy reveals that different species share the same basic bone structures, like the human arm and a vase flipper, pointing to a common ancestor. Finally, vestigial structures like the useless pelvic bones in a whale are like biological history books, providing clear evidence of an organism's evolutionary journey. The evidence for evolution is overwhelming. Fossils show a clear timeline of life. Comparative anatomy reveals shared blueprints in different species, and vestigial structures provide clues about our evolutionary past. The unifying theory of biology. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection is not just a theory, it is the central unifying principle of all biology. It explains the diversity of life, the relationships between species, and the processes that drive change. Today, the discovery of DNA has provided the ultimate confirmation, as we now know that all life on Earth shares a common genetic code. The more closely related two species are, the more similar their DNA. Evolution is a dynamic, ongoing process that is happening all around us, from the resistance of bacteria to antibiotics to the formation of new species today. Today, Darwin's theory is the central unifying principle of all biology. The discovery of DNA provided the ultimate confirmation, proving that all life shares a common genetic code. Evolution is not a thing of the past, but a dynamic, ongoing process happening all around us. A continuing story. Darwin's theory of natural selection is more than just a historical idea. It is the fundamental engine of life, constantly shaping the world around us. From the smallest bacteria to the most complex ecosystems, this elegant mechanism explains how all living things are connected. His journey reminds us that with curiosity and careful observation, we can unlock the grandest secrets of nature. Thank you for joining me on this voyage of discovery.